refer back to the original mind map, Be the Cause, Healing Human Disconnect, just so that we can have a platform from which we can speak. And if you look at panel number 4, you will see chaos. And chaos is a result of a lot of things. It's really a system gone wrong where in the original mind map, where the parents deliver a bunch of childhood wounds to the child does not heal from it, and then starts on a journey of the repetition compulsion, which is Freud's concept, which I borrowed, obviously, for the title of my show. And you can see the people spinning around, and all the bonds are torn apart, and there's a lot of toxic haze in the background, and there's no up, down, right, wrong, rhyme, or reason. It's just chaos. Remind you of the global situation? Well, it sure reminds me of the global situation, which is a huge project to attack, and no pun intended, in a good way, which I'll get to at a future point. However, for right now, let's concentrate on how to make sure that we don't end up in chaos through a solution-oriented mind map your future. And today we are going to be concentrating on tapping into your resources, because one of the things that happens in chaos is there are no resources that people are clinging on to, and they fall by the wayside because there's no support system, there's no education, there's nothing really. It's chaos, and the chaos is because of the lack of structure and resources. So are any of you actually using the mind map your future? Are you using any of the concepts? I want to hear from you. This time I really want to hear from you. And please call in so that we can apply the mind map your future to your life, and so that you could take the yellow brick road journey into a better future and be the cause of better outcomes for your life. So we talked about the first 3 panels, which was your vision, which is really, really important, because unless you have one, you're not going to be inspired. So if you could see panel 1 and the person standing on a cliff looking at a pathway into the future, it's a metaphor. All my panels are metaphors. And the metaphor for the vision is to have a strong vision that touches and inspires and moves you to formulating goals that will structure you so that you can start realizing your vision, and also start specifying goals that are more and more targeted to help you polish your vision and manifest your vision. So it's all connected. You could see panel 1, the vision, is connected to formulating goals so that you can realize aspects of your vision. And then panel 3 are your strengths that you tap into so that you can manifest better. Okay, this time I'm going to focus on resources, because this is there you go. There's the strengths that we have to gather, our strengths. And as I mentioned last time, we can't wait for strength to happen. We have to tap into processes that are going to generate strength. And we talked about how we cannot wait around to be inspired. We've got to get up and do that thing that's going to bring us the energy that is then going to fuel us toward our next step. And so now resources is another area that is worthy of discussion, because I think a lot of times, me included, I don't tap into all of my resources. I forget that I have organizations around me that I could tap into. For example, I can tap into the UCLA alumni group because I am a UCLA graduate. I could also tap into other psychological organizations. I could tap into religious organizations. I could tap into friends and their support system. I could tap into reading material and podcasts and all kinds of resources. But mostly what I want to concentrate on is to tap into resources uh, that involve people that you already know. There are no better resources than the people that you already know that love you and want you to succeed. And these are the best resources because you already have this automatic connection to them. So, what do I mean by that? I know that we were talking last time about keeping a journal and getting some ideas on paper and brainstorming and so on. And as you're doing that, please go ahead and brainstorm some resources that are at your fingertips. As of late, I've been tapping into resources from way back in the day, people who assisted me along my journey, helped me write my first book, Kick It, Stop Smoking in 5 Days, for example, something that I wrote back in the 1980s. And now he is going to be looking at my newer material and see if he can help me manifest better because this person happens to be an expert in marketing. And so these connections, even if they are a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades old, they are worthy of tapping into. And so, are there any people in the chat room that want to lend themselves as examples of the process of mind mapping your future and taking advantage of um, going through the process so that you can clarify your goals, you can tap into your vision, you can tap into your strengths, and now line up your resources? Is there anybody out there that would like to call in? After all, this is a call-in show. I know that I take questions in the chat room, but I would way much better want to talk to you and have a conversation because this is how things unfold. They don't unfold in a vacuum. And so when people enter into conversations, ideas start to spark. And these ideas can happen to be related to resources because as I'm talking about old connections that I have and will continue to stay in touch with, maybe there are some old connections that you haven't thought of for a really long time, and you remember how helpful somebody was, or how connected they are, or how they can lead you to somebody else, and you just never know. I know it's called networking, and we're all on Facebook or LinkedIn, but this is our personal networking where we are just looking at who is in our immediate circle and how we can automatically and more easily tap in because the world is a really big place. So let's start with our inner circle. Is there anybody in the chat room that would like to call in and take advantage of this opportunity to mind map your future? Tony, any volunteers in the chat room?
Right now, nobody's volunteering, but we'd love to have you call in 323-524-2599. So we'd love to have you, and please always ask questions in the chat room, but we'd love to hear you on the phone.
Okay, absolutely. Well, in the meantime, you know how I love to use you and abuse you, Tony.
Sounds like my home life.
Yeah, your home life. I mean, we're just on a what the Freud, you and I, for years now.
Right.
Would you like to volunteer and maybe we could talk about your project and you don't have to obviously reveal what that is.
Okay.
And,
I
is
could
that,
sure try. Let's do it.
well, let's do it. Okay, so you have a project in mind. Obviously, you have a vision, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct, yes.
A strong vision.
It's what vision?
Is it a strong vision?
Yes. Yes.
Does it inspire you?
Yes.
Does it light you up?
Yes, for sure.
Does it make you feel like taking action?
Yes. At this point, yes.
At this point, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Has it inspired you to formulate some specific goals, mini goals, maxi goals, side goals, little goals that will generate a sense of whether you're targeting yourself correctly.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's all happening. Okay, and are you tapping into some of your strengths, your own personal strengths, your intelligence, your creativity, your ability to elegantly and eloquently express what your desires and your creative project is all about, and get clarity on that? Have you gone that far with it?
Yes, but I do. Anxiety does kick in to where it does make me question things. You know, that negative voice sometimes kicks in. So I do have to be the adult in my own head and talk myself down from that. Yes, but yes, I do.
Okay, and this is an example of old core beliefs. I'm
Yeah,
going back
for
to
sure.
my map of the original, where our childhood wounds create reactions that create core beliefs that shadow over our ability to manifest the best of our best. And anything that's worthy is going to threaten us. Okay, if we're trying to start a new project, or we dare to open our mouths to somebody that we regard as a high level person, an influencer, anytime we're in that position, it is going to generate anxiety. And
Mm-hmm.
particularly if right, if you have something of
Yeah, for sure.
importance, then any exposure of it is yikes, like, is it going to be accepted? Are
Mm-hmm.
people poo-poo it? What's going to happen to this thing? So, right?
Yes, for sure. And Andy in the chat room also says anxiety disrupts my process as well. So
Okay, so let's go back for a minute
okay.
to panel number 3, as that's such an important panel in the mind map process, is the original panel 3, which
Oh,
is
there we go.
our encoding, okay? Our encoding, our negative core beliefs. So whenever we want to tap into our strengths, we will activate our weakness. Isn't that ironic, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We want to be strong, but what's lurking behind our strength are all our vulnerabilities. And if you look at panel number 3 from the original mind map, you will see a blueprint that's metaphorical for misinformation, for information that has been incorrectly encoded because it's based on the encoding of your family of origin that might not be the healthiest. And these encodings can include anything from I'm stupid, I don't matter, I'm not lovable, I'm not important, nobody cares about me, I'm a failure, and the list goes on. So if you're comfortable, do you mind sharing what is being activated for you while you go into your new future?
Um, I, I was just talking to myself. Was it today or I think it was today or yesterday. Driving to work, and I even said, "Don't let your negative thoughts um, control or overwhelm the positive, the blessings that are coming your way." So, um, so repeat that one more time, just so I can make sure I get
So,
this.
so I was talking about how when you have something that is worthy and important,
Mm-hmm.
then it has lurking
Oh yeah.
behind it.
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
strengths have lurking behind it your negative core beliefs that, let's call them, saboteurs for now.
Yeah. And that's where the the mind will tell me that you have these blessings, but are you worthy of them? Are you worthy, of the blessings coming your way? And I'm back in the day, I would say no, but I'm starting to really saying yes, I deserve the blessings. But it's still, those are coming into play, and I just have to breathe, work, talk to myself, even if people think I'm nuts. But it's mostly in the car. But I definitely I get those saying that you're not worthy of this.
And can you identify it in your mind as to where that source comes from?
What's funny is there's not a lot of people that ever told me that,
Mm-hmm.
but I've thought about this a lot. Is it
Yeah.
possible that even though you don't necessarily telling or nobody told you that you're not worthy of it, but almost a guilt of everybody
Mm-hmm.
else in your family that did not succeed and they're jealous or they're hateful towards you because your success, and you
Mm-hmm.
feel almost guilty of being successful and they're not?
I love where you're going with it because that can be a huge saboteur. So, as I know you, you are a very kind-hearted
Yes.
person.
Oh, thank you.
And one of the things that you don't want to do is you don't want to hurt your family, correct?
I mean, the thing is, I had three siblings. One sibling passed away 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, we don't get along at all, and I
Okay.
don't care what he thinks.
Okay.
My other sister were their closest, but we had a lot of issues because of things that she did to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hurt my family, but yet I don't care what they think.
Okay, so then let's update the files on that.
Okay,
Okay.
please guide me.
Yeah, like, okay, so you're saying a lot of important things like, that used to be, but maybe it isn't. Oh, one question I had
Hmm.
is, did anybody ever say to you that you are worthy?
Oh yeah, I've heard many times in my life that said, "I wish you could see yourself the way I see you." I've heard that multiple times over my life. And even as a kid, no, I mean, my mother, I guess in a way, my mother would tell me not to do things because, if I would tell something or talk about something, oh, don't tell your dad. And so, and then eventually, even when I was like 40, I'm 55 now. When I was 40, my mother did tell me, don't tell your dad. And I'm like, Mother, I'm 40 years old. If this is my life, you don't pay my bills. If I want to
Sure.
tell dad, I will tell dad. So nobody ever told me I couldn't do anything, but it was more like, keep your mouth shut. You'll cause drama. And now I'm like, I don't care if I cause drama.
Okay, so this is where we get to update the files. Like before, maybe did you care? Sorry,
Yes, I did. I
I have
cared a
to
lot.
sneeze.
Get it
It'll
out.
happen.
Get it out.
Phew. Oh, it happened. I'm so happy and relieved. Okay.
There you
So,
go.
um, so you used to care,
I used to
right?
care. Yes.
So there's this little thing. So let's blow it up and see what that is.
Okay.
So let's go with the old you
Mm-hmm.
that used to care what other people think, and you had no idea, and people were trying to say, hey, Tony, I wish you could see yourself the way I see you. And so you've got this little sad face, and you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at them thinking, please mirror back something to me that I'm missing because I'm not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And now updating the files would mean knowing that there are aspects of you that you yourself can see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I know we're kind of twisting this map around, but I want I want you to tap into your resource about yourself. I know I've been talking about resourcing other people and their mirroring and
Right.
their view of you, but this time I want you to resource yourself.
Okay.
Okay? When
Okay.
you resource yourself and you think about all of your accomplishments and you resource everything that you've done to educate yourself and everything you've done to learn your skills, and everything you've done to build your business and everything that you have done to PR yourself, right?
Right.
Those are your strengths, and also you're resourcing yourself now
Mm-hmm.
to say that I've got it, I've got the goods. I've got the goods. That's
Right.
what I mean by now you've got not only the strength, but you have the goods. Okay?
Right. Okay.
So I want you to look in your goodie bag. Okay, so you're looking in your goodie bag, and what are you seeing there? And at the cost of being non-modest, what do you see in there?
I I have to say, for the first time in my life, that I
Mm-hmm.
actually look in the goodie bag and say, "Wow, I actually think good things are actually going to happen or are happening." So, like,
Okay, beautiful. And why are you worthy? According to you.
why am I worthy?
Yeah, according to you. What would give what how why would you deem yourself worthy?
Well, it is funny because how people has such an issue when people ask something like that to answer. Um, I definitely think that for me, as who I am at my age now, that I've done the work, I've done the life lessons,
Yes.
and I've definitely treated people with respect, and I've, you know, feel that it's my time. I just feel like it's my time. Um, that
So
it,
one of the things that you're talking about is earnership. You earned it.
yeah, I've earned it.
Yeah, you're not just saying, well, I deserve it because I
No,
deserve it.
no.
You're not being casual about it. You're being seriously um, taking inventory and saying, look, I earned this. I
Yes.
earned the right to know that this is mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
I've worked really hard for the blessings coming.
You have worked really hard for the blessings to come. So, as a resource, I want you to prepare yourself for receiving. Okay? So, part of the word resource is
Hmm.
receive the source. I just made that up. I kind of
It was good. Write that down.
I will. Okay. So you're going to receive the source. And what is the source? You're the source.
Right.
You're the cause of all of your accolades, all of your um, time spent learning, the industry, learning people,
Hmm.
being kind to people, helping people along the way, being a pathway for others to grow and succeed, being a great support system. So now you're going to open your hands and receive
Mm. Yeah,
what
and
you're
I accept that. I
here.
do.
Okay? And why is this important and why is it not narcissistic and selfish? Because, the little that I did study Kabbalah, I still remember the lessons, is that we're here on the planet to share and to receive.
Hmm.
The more we share, the more we receive. And then the more we receive, the more we have to share. So you're not a selfish person that's just going to receive and then not share it on some level back to people.
Right. Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to tap into that as a resource. That's your resource. That you're playing a fair game with the universe. And as you grow and as you receive your abundance, that which you worked really hard for, you are going to generate. You are going to generate to yourself, and you're going to reveal a lot of light through your project to other people, and they're going to be the beneficiary of it just as you will. So they will be receiving, and you will be receiving, and you will be sharing, and they will be receiving. Okay?
Hmm.
So it's sort of like this cool loop. Okay? A generative loop.
Right. Right.
Okay?
I love it.
So So could you look into your goodie bag and tell me more about what's in there about you that earned your your right to receive?
Um, earn my right.
Yeah, why should the universe bestow blessings on you? What are you going to do with these blessings? Are you going to squander them? Are you going
No,
to?
no. I
No,
mean, I,
that's it.
I definitely I want to give back. And I've thought about this a lot. I'm not about entitlement. I don't like people that are entitled. I don't like to be entitled either. Um,
Mhm.
People that want to receive things, I feel need to earn them, meaning not necessarily respect. Well, some ways, yeah, you still have to, earn your respect from people. Because if you're a jerk, I can't respect you. Um, but for me, I always said sometimes I would rather give to a stranger that is in need than a family member that just thinks they deserve something because I'm their family. Um, so, yeah, I want to give back to the people that really need it and deserve it to better their lives. So, yes.
So you're not going to waste your energy on people that
No,
are going to squander
no,
your energy.
no, at all.
Okay, and this is really good to know because as you manifest your vision, this vision is going to unfold to people who are deserving of your energy, correct?
Correct, yes.
And it's also going to be in the hands of people that are going to reward you for what you've created. And that's perfectly okay and not narcissistic. If I'm rewarded for my services, there's nothing wrong with that,
Right,
right?
right.
So I want you to wrap your head around that also because maybe part of your blockage is that, you tend to be generous and good hearted and so on, but you also deserve, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You deserve to receive,
Right.
okay?
But like you
And,
said, I don't feel like it is a narcissistic thing to feel
right.
you deserve something
Mhm.
when, because I've heard people, I deserve this. And it's like, but what have you done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so now you can stop and say, I have done.
Yeah.
I deserve it not just because I say like a little child stomping his feet or her feet. You
Right.
remember what's her name? I forgot in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that
Oh,
little
Bianca.
yeah, that one. Okay, where she's stopping.
I
I
want it now, Daddy.
I want a pony. You know, I just like empty deserving, which is one of the childhood wounds of spoiling a kid. When
Right.
you spoil a kid, you make them weak,
Right.
and they don't go into the earnership loop, and then they just become demanding and narcissistic and disgusting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not that person. So you're willing to play a great game of life where you create and where you manifest it and where you tap into resources and then you receive. You receive.
Right.
So now that you feel more entitled in a healthy way, what resources do you think you have held back from yourself on that could further your um, project? Anything or anybody?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely. I still have things to work on. I mean, I do have things to work on.
Hmm.
Um, but, giving myself time and not push myself to say it has to be done today. Um, that's my biggest thing. Being impatient is something. I don't know if it's a age thing or if it's something that I've always had that in a way of I can be patient in many ways, but w- patient for things to happen, I don't have. So
But I'm turning it into a good thing in the sense that you have strong desire. You know, if you have no patience, that means like, give it to me now. You have a strong desire.
Right. Yes.
No,
I guess.
you're
Okay.
not in you're not in the I don't care zone. Like you're not in the whatever. You're like passionate. I want this thing.
yeah. Yes. That's right. I guess. Yeah. Okay. I'll take it as a positive then.
Okay, so it's a reflection of your desire and patience. So what I want you to look at is any resources, any people that maybe you haven't called, anybody that's connected to any of your ideas
Mm-hmm.
that has some ideas that relate to your ideas.
For
That's,
sure. And
yeah,
that
go ahead.
giving myself time. Yeah. That's is sitting down and doing that and not letting other things overwhelm me to where I say, oh, I don't have time to do that. That's what I have to definitely work on for sure.
Okay, but I'm talking about looking into resources of people or other talents
Mm-hmm.
that can further your um, career.
Yes. I agree with that.
And have you tapped into those people?
In fact, that somebody in the chat room just, and I think kind of what we're talking about is what are some techniques that you would suggest, Dr. Judy? It says for individuals who struggle with self doubt and limiting beliefs. So that's kind of what we've been talking about in a way.
Exactly.
But
So I
where do people, like I said, I got to an age where I've started feeling the the peak of the mountain to where I'm like, oh, I can see the sunrise, because I hit the top of the mountain. How what about the people that are just starting to walk up the mountain? How do they
Well, walking up the mountain is a great thing. You just want to make sure that you're not
pace
limiting
yourself?
yourself. Like you don't want to put that glass ceiling
Yeah.
on yourself, and those core beliefs are those glass ceilings. That experiment with ants where they put these, actually they were fleas, they put them in a jar and then they put a lid on the jar with
Mm-hmm.
little holes in it so
Yeah.
they could feed, right? And then they put the fleas in there, and the fleas would learn to stay in the jar even after they took the lid off. So those are the limiting core beliefs. So if you're stuck and you're not able to tap into your vision, you're not even able to start the climb, you want to go back to panel, the original mind map, and see what's up. What are those childhood injuries? Who told you
Hmm.
that you were stupid? Who told you that you were unworthy? Who told you that you weren't good enough? Who told you that you were a failure? You've
Hmm.
got to go and look into that because perhaps you have encoded that and have lived that and have created a kind of like a proof theorem about that, because when you get information from your parents like I am stupid, then you trip up in class and you get the bad grade,
Right.
and then you look at that and say, see, my dad was right, my mom was right, I knew I was stupid. But then you have to look at how that was all created and start unwinding it and start processing the faulty information and the faulty reaction and
Mm-hmm.
chaos out of the information. Is that making sense?
That makes total sense. And we do have a call just came in.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, hi. Thank you so much for calling in.
Hi, it's great to be here. I'm loving this show, but I'm very nervous because I'm having a very difficult time mind mapping my future.
Like all of us, it's scary. Look at panel one, the vision. Look at the little person standing on the cliff, right? They look like they're about to fall off. And look at the pathway out there in the horizon. I know there's light coming out and there are all these rays of hope, and but anytime we embark on something, it's very, very scary, and it's going to bring up anxiety. It's going to bring up doubt. It's going to bring up those negative core beliefs. So share a little, if you will, about what you want for yourself, and maybe we can get into what's tripping you up.
Well, I love the mind map process. Like, I just found it soft, inviting, enjoyable. And now I'm in a place in my life as a new widow that I'm looking at the world and I don't know where to go with the way it is right now. I'm just looking at and feeling a lot of dysregulation in my body and a lack of hope, to be honest.
Well, part of it, I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm off, is that you said that you're newly widowed, so that means you had a life with somebody and it was sort of regulated. That was a pattern for you with this other person,
Yeah, I
correct?
loved it. Yes, he was lovely and gentle, and
Mm-hmm.
our families came from similar places, so we could process our family of origin, and he was a process oriented man. So it was wonderful. But
Aren't you
I
lucky?
have not, what?
Aren't you lucky to have had that?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, God has been good to me. I'll say that.
Yes, and now you have you have to kind of like reinvent the wheel. You've got to reinvent your life, and that's not easy because your life was in a pattern, it was in a structure, it involved another person, and now he's out of the picture of your life.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I don't like it. I accept it. I will never marry again unless, you know, it's somebody that's God ordained, meaning he's done his work and he has a plan for his future that he's capable of executing, you know?
It's so hard to meet I know the word is overused, a soulmate. It is so hard
Mm.
because there are so many elements. You want to line up intellectually, you want to line up with your
Mhm.
goals, you want to line up with your values. There's just so much to it. I've toyed around with the concept of helping people get dating ready, and even for myself, I find it very, very challenging to meet a like-minded kindred spirit.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult because um, I don't know why it's so difficult, but it is difficult because it's almost like a God element, right? If you will, a higher power aligning something that looks like a needle in a haystack for many.
Yes, very much so. I'm shocked by when I look out, I think, is it my eyesight? But everyone that approaches me, I go, oh, no way. Like, not even close. Like, and it's not, I'm not being shallow. They are grasping, they are filthy. I don't know what any other word. So I have no hope there. But even as far as I was one of my family members wants me to take over one of the family businesses. Now, do I want to do that at my age? I'm a senior, you know?
Well, is there anything, and that's, first of all, your eyes have been trained to be attracted to your deceased husband. Okay, so
Yes, yes,
right? So your
yes.
eye, like you liked his eyes and his skin and his touch and his energy.
Every everything,
Right. So,
everything. Yeah.
right, we form these close associations, and then when a foreign object comes in our way, we look at it that way, like, ooh, I don't want this foreign object, It's got
Yes.
hair in his nose, or I kind of make fun of this. I have a very dark sense of humor, like out there. Uh, I'm, I'm writing a book right now called Dating Disaster,
Good.
just to kind of
Good. I'm so glad. We
just to
need you.
be funny about it, but um, I don't know why this is so. I've had so many thoughts of how do you tell people that they're killing their chances of finding love because their fingernails are dirty, or because they don't show up, or they don't show up well groomed, or they're too selfish in their discussions on a date, or it's so many things have to line up. But okay, so do you have a vision for yourself that you do want to realize?
I do, but it might be way out of touch with reality.
Oh, I
My
don't
husband and
know.
I,
Those
every
are the
day, we we studied Torah every single day, and we loved our life. Why can't I have that again?
study Torah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I think
well, I loved it.
that is called what, the same thing that I desire. I desire a spiritual and
Yes,
intellectual and physical growth partner. I really do, you know? And I think
I
that
do.
sometimes when you're very developed in these areas, that people just don't sync up. Okay? So what's your big deal? What are you desiring?
Another thing is I like staying very physically fit and also healthy in a wholesome way. I'm not obsessed about it, but I love being strong. I'm 61 years old.
Mhm.
I want to keep slim and strong and movement. I want to be able to get up from the ground, up, down. I like grandchildren. If they have grandchildren, bonus, because I only have one.
Well, these are beautiful things. Now, okay, so you're healthy, you're 61, you're young enough, you value your agility, you value health, you value studying Torah, you value growth. So okay, so what's your vision for yourself?
Well, I would like us to continue to walk home toward, you know, our creator. I want to to do it together. So in other words, it would be an exclusive relationship just based in a triad of God, me, and him. So wherever we lived, whatever we did, we would be actively serving at the same time as pausing and being and enjoying each other in retirement. I've been my husband died 4.5 years ago, so we were going to retire together, and he died 2 weeks after both of us were set to retire. But due to COVID, we couldn't leave our work position.
Well, that's going to take some rewiring for you to see your life without your husband, for sure.
Yeah, I know. How do
Yeah,
I do that?
I think having a vision, some kind of vision. Look, you love Torah study. God already sent
Yeah.
you an amazing partner. Do you desire
Yes,
amazing partner?
yes, yes, I do. I think so. See, I'm a little scared because I don't want all of that nonsense that I've seen. You would think I don't, because my immediate reaction is stop that, don't do that. Like I'm horrified by the men I've met, and I broke up quickly after one date every time. They were horrible.
Yeah, I totally understand you. And sometimes these dating services are not the best. And the online things are not the best either, because as there's so many different choices that people don't really give each other the opportunity to get to know one another.
No,
But okay, so what is your big vision? What is your big desire? Just put it out there.
that I think that's all I have, Dr. Judy. I think that I get so anxious trying to create a vision, but this is all I have, is that I want to live in authenticity and integrity under the mantle of God. That's it. I really, like, that's all I've got. A healthy, happy life. I don't have any clear picture.
That's a pretty clear picture. I mean, the Torah does give us guidelines for a connection to God. And do you want to strengthen that? Do you want to do more in that direction? Does that touch and move and inspire you?
I study Torah every single day, but I wish it wasn't alone.
Okay, so what if you got into a Torah group?
Yes, I am in one, and I like it very much.
You do. Okay. Are they
Yeah.
only women?
Um, no, I'm in both a mixed one and a woman only, and I like both. There's a time to be just women when we're studying Torah, I think.
So maybe for you, it's really just doing what you love to do and trusting God that He will surround you with the right people because you're in the mix of people who are like-minded, right? They too want to connect. They too want a spiritual life. They too want a richer life. They too want to walk in an integrity and authenticity. So you know you're swimming in the right pool.
Thank you. That does feel right to me. I love my little community, but when I step out of it, I'm on one dating app for 6 months. I actually get an anxiety attack. So I only do 5 to 15 minutes a day. And it's just responding to terrible letters. And I've been told I'm on the best one for mature people. And if this is the best, I'm kind of terrified.
I understand. And I can't explain that. I can't explain why our choices have become so difficult and why people aren't trying harder to be the best of their best. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I have to teach people how to be because a lot of people don't know how to be. Not that I'm such a, you know, like the highest level of how to be, but, you know, I do make an effort to be a psychoeducator for people. I think you're in the right group. Is there anything that you want to? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, put it out there. All right, your husband is gone. Rest his soul. All right, so if you're just tapping in to the kind of man that you want as a partner, could you please describe him?
Like the previous caller that was on, somebody who can articulate his process and he can receive feedback in a way that he doesn't over defend every time, where it becomes so mired in a quagmire that there's fluidity between us. You know, there's an ability and a strong rootedness in knowing the value of connecting in truth and knowing who your enemy is. And it's not the first person who triggers you is not your enemy. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to
Again, I'm
articulate.
going to wrap my head around that. What did you say about the enemy?
Well, sometimes in a marriage, I've seen married people treat each other as if they were the enemy
Sure.
rather than coming together and saying, oh, what is the big picture here? Right. The big picture is that we are committed to loving each other. So we need to remember that we are not the enemy. Most people that I find in their 50s and 60s that I'm meeting right now, they don't even live that way. And I want to go so far past that. My husband and I, we're so far beyond having to even withdraw projections. I mean, after that long together,
So
and yeah, just a self-responsible.
okay, I'm gonna ask you to do something far-fetched, okay? And I'm
Okay,
talking to myself also, by the way.
okay,
Do not
good.
accept anything less than that.
I promise I won't.
Do not
I
accept
promise.
anything less than that, okay?
Yeah, I need it. I have to have it.
You have to have it. These things are, you didn't say anything that's out of integrity. You want somebody that's not defensive. You want somebody that's going to put the relationship first. You want the enemy to be the enemy of what hurts the relationship, not each other.
Yes, that's it exactly. Yes.
Okay, that if there is an enemy, it's like what I say. You know, it's funny because I've been tossing around a dating show idea, and I actually pitched a show years and years ago called Last Ditched Effort and Get Dating Ready. And and in there I have a sentence that says something like, "Don't drop the person, drop the problem." So the
Oh, I
enemy
love it.
is the problem. So you want somebody that is a fierce fighter for the relationship and a fierce fighter against the problems that eat away or injure the relationship.
You articulated that so well. I got shivers. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what I want.
Well, then that's what I would ask God for, no less than that. And when you meet people who are vibrating at a lower level and you're trying to make the shoe fit, and I'm guilty of that, like, oh, he's a nice guy, let's try again. Maybe I missed something and I should give the person another chance. No, no.
This is so important. This is so important. How can we make sure that we implement this, Dr. Judy?
I'm a stubborn woman. I would
Good.
I would never lower myself to, and I'm not saying that if the color of the eyes or the person's bald, I don't care that much. It's just more like if that person isn't all of what you described, okay? Somebody that knows how to self-reflect and self-correct. Somebody, I do believe in the triangle. From from through to, and by from through to, I mean from God, through me, through a, a partner to connect us. From,
Yes.
through God to each of us to connect us. Okay, so your main resource is the Torah. That's your
Yes.
main resource.
Yes. And I love it, and I will be in it for the rest of my life.
Are you Orthodox, Reformed, conservative? How would you regard yourself?
I'm conservative, but I lean more, I'm open to, I do have some Orthodox relatives, and I'm very open to the wisdom that they give me. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, maybe take on a little more each day and see if it clarifies you, and pull toward the people that pull toward your philosophies, pull toward them.
This has helped me so much. Thank you, Dr. Judy.
You're very welcome. And, again, I reiterate, when I say don't give people another chance, I'm not saying don't give them a chance if they're late for the date, or if they're, if they forget their wallet, or, like, not those little things. I'm just saying that if you clearly see that they're not self-reflectors, that, in your case, if they don't believe in a higher power, if they're
Oh,
not
never.
relationship oriented, you do not belong together. So
Not at all.
so please do not force it.
I will not. And not only that, I'm just not going to compromise at all. I can't imagine dating a godless man, but I also don't want to date a lazy man who's really not doing deep dives. Like we can fluff around Torah or something. That's not the same as really wrestling.
You don't want, did you say lazy man? A lazy person?
Yes, lazy Torah. I don't do that. I want somebody who's really wrestles, with God.
You should read Dr. Peterson's book, Wrestling with God. I have it on my audio and I haven't really delved into it, but maybe that's something for you.
I'll get it. I have not read that. I should read that.
I mean, clearly he's not Jewish, but I think he's a very high spiritual soul, and he's got a lot of integrity and wisdom. And, we want people, I'll say it again, growth partner. I want a growth partner. I'm putting it out there. You
Yeah.
want a growth partner.
Yes.
Putting it out there. Let's get a growth partner. No less than that.
Yes. No more, not the putzes I've been seeing. I want a growth partner. That's it exactly.
Right. And so you're in a great group, and if you need to expand your group and include other people that are in your pool, that's that's your group. And don't don't try to, take the shoehorn and the round hole in the square peg thing. Forget it.
Forget it. I
Forget
might have done that years ago, not now. Like, no, no. Oh my goodness. Educate a fool and they'll hate you.
Right. And sometimes you just know just because energetically, they don't feel right or they don't smell right or their voice is off or something. So I think God
Yeah,
has a plan. And when it's right, I think that it's supposed to go like this. I mean, not perfectly, because that's where we negotiate things and figure it out, but it's supposed to feel connected, supposed to feel that way because there's enough in the world that is so disconnected that we want the person that we come home to be connected. So
I feel really happy right now. Thank you so, so much.
you are very, very welcome. Stick with the group that you feel resonates with your values, and that's how you will meet the right people. Okay?
𝗦𝗪𝗕𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓𝗏, thank you.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And I know we're just about out of time. And are there any thoughts or questions in the chat room, Tony?
Mostly just chit-chatting.
Chit-chatting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so resources, tapping into your own resources, tapping into a pool of people that resonate with you. These are really important things because you want to surround yourself with the right growth partners. Like if you're into healthy food, you don't want to have a bunch of friends that are going out for pizza and beer every weekend. It's not going to serve you really well. So, choose the people that you surround yourself with carefully and resource the people that are on the pathway that you're headed in as well. So, with that said, I want to wish everybody a good night, and I will see you next week.